everybody, and welcome to the Trading with Ashley show. I have been with all of you for almost a full year now with my own channel, so I thought it was time to share something that's kind of personal, but I really believe that it will help a lot of you that may find yourself in the same situation. And here's what happened to me. So I was working corporate America. A lot of you know from watching my show that I had been in corporate America almost 30 years. And when you are an executive in a large company and you pull a good paycheck, it's pretty easy to get approved for loans. So we had the dream to give our children a new home before all of them moved on and graduated into life. So at this point, we have 4 children. One of them was entering high school. Another one, actually 2 of them were entering into college. And it was our desire to go ahead and build our home for them, that they would have a lot of memories in there before they grew up too much and went off and started families of their own. So that put a lot of pressure on me. And I actually stayed at this job that I was unhappy with for longer than I should, so that I would continue to qualify for the loan to build this home. Well, as time passed and I became increasingly dissatisfied with the amount of time I was spending at work, the demands on me, and this environment in general. After you have worked for so long, you really aren't into the office politics anymore, and you're wanting just a more simple, happy life. So I decided at that point that I would go ahead and remove myself from the situation and I would trade for a living. Well, right as I made that switch, one thing happened. I no longer qualified for the loan to build our home. For those of you that just trade for a living like I do, you have to have at least 2 years of solid trading experience before banks will even consider giving you a loan. And so I hated disappointing the children, but it was really something that was important to me that I actually have a better situation and that we stop and pump the brakes and take some time to actually do this the right way. Well, unfortunately, I saw their faces when I shared the news with them, and I really started thinking about how fast that life moves, and this was very important to me to move forward with the project. So I started taking chances that I should have never taken. I actually was over trading. I was taking too large of a positions. I was putting too much into one particular ticker symbol. I did all the things you're not supposed to do. Revenge trading, that was a big piece of it. If you lose a little bit of money, you double up and say, I'm going to make it back on that same play, but just increase my odds. So I was doing futures trading. I was doing all sorts of things to try to hurry and get the amount of money that we needed to build this home, since we no longer qualified for the loans. And then one day I just stopped the crazy. I actually set the family down and I said, I am doing things I'm not proud of. I am starting to take too large of chances with our income that we've worked so hard for through the years. And I'm sorry to share with you, but I am going to pump the brakes on this project to build this home. And I am going to wait until I am to the point where we can either pay cash for the home or we can start to qualify for loans, because I have enough trading experience under my belt. And so they were disappointed, but they understood. I have a very supportive family, and, life went on. And so we just kind of put that dream of our dream home on the back burner. I am very proud to share with you, now things have come full circle and we just broke ground on that dream home. It was such a pivotal moment, and it really was a great lesson for me and for our family that sometimes you just have to be patient and do things the right way. So what changed? What made all the difference in us now being able to go forward with our project? Well, I did. Once I slowed down, once I started doing things the proper way, I started controlling my position size. I quit taking too many chances, and I went back to what I knew worked really well. And that's the wheel strategy. There are a lot of alternative strategies that traders use to make money, but I just want you to know that I spend 80% of my trading budget for the wheel strategy. It is the more consistent, safe way to trade, and I have finally made quite a bit of money from doing it. So when I went back to the basics and I started running the wheel strategy for the vast majority of my trades, the wins started stacking up. Another thing I did is I had patience. So if you've traded stocks and you sell puts and you sometimes are afraid of assignment, I quit being afraid of assignment. I had researched the companies. They were great companies. I knew over time that they would go up. So I quit running away from my trades and I just started accepting the trades as I had taken them. I had done the research. I knew they were solid companies. Once I did that and started taking assignment, at that point, all I had to do was be patient. And usually within 3 to 4 weeks, that stock would turn around and start heading back up on the price action on the Bollinger Band. And then I would start selling covered calls. I quit being afraid of the call away. I let the process work. I would allow my trades to be called away because really that's when you start making the most amount of money. It's when you're put the shares, you already received premium for it. Now you ride the price wave all the way up and then you start selling calls. Once I started allowing the call away, that's when I was able to start my snowball of money that really expanded my trading account. So I wanted to share this with you because there's so many different ways to trade. And I know some of you, I've actually had some students that have come to me and they said, what would you do if you needed to make a lot of money really quick? And I tell them right away, that's not the way to trade. That will get you into a lot of trouble. You take unusual chances. And usually it ends up where you're going back to a strategy that you know is slower but more consistent, hence the wheel strategy. So I thought I would share this with those of you that may find yourself in a similar situation. If you go back to what you know best, and if you accept smaller wins more consistently, I promise you are going to be in a much better situation. So for those of you that have never traded selling options and it's something you think you might be interested in, I'd be happy to teach you everything I know about selling options. I run a bustling community. I take so much time teaching and training them, answering questions, coming up with solid companies for them to trade. And we are winning. We are having a great experience and we are doing incredible with the trades that we're taking, even when we had everything pulled back. For those of you that trade options, when everyone's scared and running away from the market, that's when we can make the most money selling puts on quality companies at low prices. Now all that is coming to fruition and we are having a really good year when otherwise a lot of people that were afraid of the market, they actually had the drawdown or they got out of it completely. Now, for any of you that just are curious and you want to better understand maybe my style of teaching, I have a very reasonably priced workshop. I have teamed up with one of my good friends that is very skilled in technical analysis, and we are doing this workshop together. So you may want to consider being a part of it. It's on Saturday, May the 31st. Watch this quick clip and it'll tell you everything you need to know. What if one workshop could change the way you trade forever? Josh and I are hosting a live 2-hour workshop where I'll be teaching you all things skips. A smarter, lower risk option strategy I actually developed and trademarked to help you grow your portfolio without gambling.
And I'll be diving into charting mastery from indicators that work to how to spot trend reversals before they happen.
It's all happening Saturday, May the 31st at 6 p.m. EST and spots are limited.
Click the link below to secure your spot and thank us later when you turn your trades into a Wall Street ATM.
Trust us, your future self will thank you. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. I hope that inspires some of you to just slow down, learn the proper way to trade, and then be okay with stacking small wins more consistently. When you go for the gold and you go for those big plays and you're desperate, that's when you're going to make larger mistakes. And I don't want that for any of my viewing community. Remember, if you're with me trading with Ashley, there is no trader left behind. Now, if you're interested in learning how to trade and learning how to trade safely, I'm going to teach you everything I know about the wheel strategy. Here's a great video to get you started.